Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, Director of the School of Integrative Psychology and facilitator of the Integrative Life Community Building course. The focus of this 5th class in our series is to learn how to better use relationships to grow in self-love and self-mastery. What are loving relationships? We inherit patterns of relationship that are largely unconscious. Only by having the courage to identify them and re-own the power that they have co-opted can we change our level of interpersonal fulfillment. Creating conscious, loving relationships is work, but a labor that is both highly rewarding and infectious. Others will want what you're having, and it will pervade your personal and work life. We have several goals for this work. First of all, is knowing how to use our relationships on our spiritual path. It's not separate from what our mission in life is. It's not that we have a spiritual path and then we have relationships, which are kind of annoying or an interlude we take from our serious work, or a necessary evil. No, our relationships are part and parcel of our spiritual path. To know why we create the relationships that we do, why it is that we have the current relationships in our life right now, and to learn how to better get what we want and help others get what they want in their relationship with us. I think the most important relationship, as it will be distilled down, is to improve the relationship that we have with ourself. All else will follow from that. Now, from one point of view, everything in the universe is a relationship. Ordinarily, we think about relationships about those specific, significant others, those important figures that make our hearts sing or our stomachs turn. You know, those biggies in our life. Well, the truth is, everything that we relate to, that we have an energetic connection with in the universe, is a relationship. We have a relationship with our car. We have a relationship with nature. We have a relationship with food. All of these relationships tend to reflect, however, major patterns or attitudes that we have developed in our life. And so in this class, we'll be focusing on these major templates or significant relationships about which we've reached conclusions and then continue to repeat these conclusions in all our relationships throughout our life. When we get right down to the core then, we're able to change our relationships with everything. How our food tastes will be different. How we breathe. We're going to go right for the tap root, as it were. We're going to get what are the personal laws, major beliefs that we have, where they came from, and how we can fine-tune them. Because it's not a matter of, if I just get rid of that relationship with so-and-so in the present or in the past, then my mind and heart will be cleansed and my life will be wonderful. Probably not that easy, because that so-and-so has or had a particular message for me about a part of myself. And if I hold on to a particular attitude towards that so-and-so, it will continue to influence my attitude toward life. So we're going to leave no stone unturned, as it were, to get to what those core beliefs are in our work today. This subject, our relationships, I believe poses a major challenge to the philosophy of creative thought, which is the basis of our series, of our work together. What do I mean by that? Well, if I'm saying that I am the creator of my world, of my universe, and that it is my responsibility to master my mind and to have my body be in alignment with the major principles of being, harmony, beauty, truth, simplicity, love. If that's my job, and I have my unique way of doing it, is this town big enough for the both of us? Doesn't my getting what I want mean that you might not get what you want? How can we both be divine beings going for what we want when it seems like it may not be the same thing in the world? This will never be solved, I believe, logically. Remember, when we identified with our mind, as it were, in that myth, when in the Garden of Eden we ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, we began to separate things. There's my way and there's your way. There's what I want and what you want. And they seem to be opposite. So this is a huge challenge to us every day in our life. Because even when someone isn't there saying, oh, I want something different, or please do that my way, I'm imagining they are. I'm shaping all of my behavior depending on what I think my partner would want, or what the Joneses will say, or what the boss would do if he saw me. So I carry around these relationships continually, and they seem to be continually compromising me, my free will. Big challenge. The mind, I do not believe, is big enough to incorporate all of these different free wills, and we keep on trying to figure it out. Oh, what government can we set up that's going to make everyone happy? What laws do we need to pass that, if we just follow them, everyone will get along? Now, that's not to say we shouldn't think of humane laws, but if they are not guided by the principles of our heart, if they're not guided by something larger than logic, they'll always end up pleasing some people and not others, working for this group and not that group. The heart is the organ which is big enough to encompass these supposed opposites. To have a vision that sees higher than the limited universe, in which there are the winners and the losers, the happy people, the lucky ones, the ones that have found love and now are living happily ever after, and then us. That view of things does not lend itself to a state of dynamic self-acceptance. I say dynamic self-acceptance because I'm not looking for a state of nirvana in which I finally accepted everything about myself, and that's it, folks. Now I'm going to sleepwalk through the rest of eternity. No, there's always a dance that's going on. So I come to some acceptance of myself, and then I realize, oops, I could do this a little better. And that could be torture, if that's all there were. It's well known that people that often reach their material goals in life say, is that all there is? So I've got the $1 million. All right, is that it? If that's all there is, then it's fairly hollow. The whole other part of life, that embracing of the game, of the dance, that whole other aspect of the yin, which can say, this dance is good. This dance is bathed in love. Even though it's hard at times, there's anger, there's sadness, there's fear, there's ecstasy. I can accept all of that. I don't limit myself to one part of the drama or fixate on one goal as the answer to my fulfillment. But I get ahead of myself. We have some work to do before we get to that stage of acceptance, as is always in the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. So it's getting from here to there is what's fun about it. I have to get to that place of the heart that gives the balance between the side of my mind that's always in argument, that are always in a dramatic tension. Because in my mind, every relationship that I have reflects a part of that inner drama that's going on within me. Every person that I relate to in my life is a reflection of the part of my internal dance. You could say that a study of our relationships is a study of our projections. It's a study of our illusions projected onto life, that angry boss or that jealous partner. They're all aspects of the dance within us, and we draw them into our life not just to vex us, not just as a cruel hoax, but hopefully in that relationship, in my relationship with you, there's something there that's helping me to come to self-acceptance. And hopefully the same for you. But I want to do things a little differently today. Rather than talking about it or analyzing relationships, let's have one. Let's start off from some experience of relationship and see what happens with that. I'm going to ask you to now focus on this relationship you are having right now with me, right in the eternal now, regardless of your mind's judgments that I made this recording in your past and you were in my future when I made it. We are connecting here and now in the eternal present. I'll give you some instructions about how we'll play the game to which I'm inviting you. In this exercise, there will be a partner A, which will be me, and a partner B, which will be you. We're going to make contact in our heart beyond time and space and take turns in completing 2 sentence stems. I, A, will start by completing the first sentence stem, unrehearsed. A fear I have about examining my relationships is. Now, your job is to stay in contact with me and not to judge, simply to hear my sharing and to say thank you as an acknowledgement of my sharing when I'm complete. So I will start and say several responses, whatever comes out to me in the moment. A fear I have of examining my relationships is I might find something that's embarrassing to me. A fear I have of examining my relationships is it's unknown, and in that sense, I can't control what I'm going to find. A fear I have of examining my relationships is I might find something that I don't like and means that I have to change, and maybe something I'm afraid of changing or scares me to change. A fear I have of examining my relationships is that I will find something overwhelmingly joyous about myself that I haven't been willing to admit or even to tolerate. It may change my life. A fear I have of examining my relationships is that I will dispense all my fears and just live spontaneously, which at the moment to me sounds a bit scary. Okay. I receive your thank you as an acknowledgement of my sharing. Okay. Now it's your turn to complete 10 responses on handout 1, Loving Relationships Exercise, Section 1A. A fear I have in examining my relationships is. The idea isn't just to fill up space. The idea is each time to sink a little deeper and listen to what that voice of fear is saying. So after the first few clever responses and you have nothing else to say, that's when it gets juicy. Just sink into and bingo, write whatever comes out. Stop the video and fill out section 1A and come back to the video. Now we're going to go back to me, A, and I will complete the second sentence stem as I feel my contact with you. What I like about you is. Now, I'll just say what comes out. Now, you may not have ever had a conversation with me before today. Makes no difference. Your logical mind can have a field day with this. Oh, this guy doesn't even know me. How can he presume to like something about me? Even if he generically thinks he likes everyone, he couldn't possibly know the real me. Now, see if you can honor your logical mind and at the same time take in something in your feeling body beyond that. It's just a game, so let's experiment. I'll start and ask you to say thank you when I'm complete. Something I like about you is that you're willing to play this game with me. Something I like about you is that you're seeking to know more about your relationships. Something I like about you is that you have a loving intent. Even though you may have doubts and fears, there's something that drew you to do this course and to do this class with me. Something I like about you is that you're a like-spirited being on the road of life with me. Something I like about you is that you're willing to do something different, something a little out of the ordinary, something that stretches you, and me too. Something I like about you is that we have an eternal loving connection, even if we never meet in person. Something that I like about you is the light that you reflect in me, and I reflect in you. Okay. Thank you. So, and I accept your thank you. What makes this fun and real for me is that I was able to do this without rehearsing, which is a big step in mental mastery for me. Believe me, a couple of times before I did the video, my mind started, oh, what is that again? And I was able to, nope, it's going to be more fun if I don't think of anything ahead of time. So now it's your turn to stop the video and complete section 1B, something I like about you is. Give 10 responses and come back to the video. Now notice what happens when your energy moves from the fear about relationships to the acknowledgement of one. Notice what happens in your body, and you could say generally in your spirit, when you tell the truth about your acknowledgement. Telling your heart's truth, not your mind's judgments all the time, is what really acknowledges others and brings out that connection, which is true between you. The truth is that there are no strangers. When we have played this game in workshops in the past, people were able to connect deeply even though they had never seen their partner before doing the exercise. All we really want is divine recognition. We validate ourselves as we see and tell the truth about this. If you're not validating yourself, you are invalid. Our best form of healing from past invalidations is simply our acknowledging presence. What you are serves others more than what you do. Receiving and giving divine acknowledgement is our main job in relationships, not waiting to get it from those we are still holding accountable for our fulfillment. The divine wants pleasure and joy for us. Our hearts give us the ability to transcend not only time and space, but our personal histories. Keep this in mind as we dive into the rest of our work today, because we either accept and release our past experiences and manifest mutual divinity, or engage in trying to get even. The less we can accept that we are already even, that is, all divine light beings, the more we spend time being odd, not fitting in anywhere, but the illusions we make up. It's our choice, revenge versus pleasure and joy. Harboring revenge usually leads to sickness and death. Let's refocus on what we want to increase and build in our relationships. Take handout 1 again, and in section 2, write, something I like about my relationships. Now, that's not to say there are things we don't like or things we're here to heal, and so on. But something I like about my relationships is what we're looking at now. 10 responses. Stop the video, complete this, and come back to the video. So it's by very nature the relationships game that forces us to trust in the love we are, the universe, and surrender to the flow. Enjoy the ride by releasing all the baggage which drags us out of the current of love. Worry, negative judgment, resentments, false identities, and habitual fears. To be sure, our relationships can be challenging, exhilarating, surprising, humbling, and fulfilling. It can get easier and does take staying with the process. Letting love direct our relationships is the road home. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings till next class. Blessings and light and love.